The month of October has been a Halloween-themed month on my channel, so today I'm continuing with that theme with a Misdreavus solo playthrough. I love this cute little ghost. It's mischievous. It's also the first mono ghost Pokemon ever introduced. Hey Game Freak, thanks for making a really cool mono ghost Pokemon. I can't wait to use it. Oh wait, it's only available in Mount Silver at night. So this is another forgotten Pokemon just because it was gated off from players until the very end of the game. So today I'm making up for Game Freak's flaws with the Universal Pokemon Randomizer. I replaced Totodile just because Misdreavus matches up pretty well against all of the rivals' choices, but Bayleaf gets more powerful moves earlier on than the other two, so I figured that it'll be the hardest to face. Here's the rules for this playthrough. I've also left them in the description so you can reference them later. For once, I've actually seen Misdreavus' back sprite before, and that's because when I was a kid, I actually tried using it after reaching Mount Silver. I assumed that since the Tyranitar line was found in Mount Silver, that Misdreavus must evolve into some super powerful ghost. Turns out that it doesn't. Well, yet. Now let's talk about Psywave. This move is bad. I'd say that it's worse than Present. It does variable fixed damage. Seems like a contradiction, but it isn't. Here's how it works. The move deals between 1 and 1.5 times the user's level in damage. However, the damage is fixed after the move determines how much it will deal, so it never gets access to the stab modifier, type effectiveness, or the boost from stats. This terrible move is Misdreavus' only option until it gets access to the TM for Swift in Union Cave. Outside of the early game, the rest of this cutie's move pool is decent. Shadow Ball, while physical, is going to be useful. Psybeam will also be a great special attack for Johto. Then, after the League, Misdreavus gets access to Thunderbolt through the Goldenrod move tutor and the TM for Psychic in Kanto. On my Learn Set list, I also included the fact that it gets access to Hypnosis through an event, but I'm not going to get access to that today. It's just a cool piece of trivia. I've hardly even begun and I'm already starting to get so frustrated. Beyond the fact that Psywave feels like it just loves to deal the least amount of damage possible, it also has 80% accuracy and bad PP. I'm just missing so much. I'd really like to use Struggle in this situation, but that's not feasible since Misdreavus also knows Growl, which has 40 PP. So in order to proceed past each trainer, I actually have to go back to the Pokemon Center and heal. This is because I don't want to get stuck in the next fight having to spam Growl 40 times after Psywave misses an unfortunate number of times. Because of this, it's taking forever to get through the route, so I just decide to skip most of the trainers and proceed to Violet City as fast as possible. The moment when I get Swift can't come fast enough. On my way, I actually get some bad luck catching Bellsprout as well. Normally this thing's simple, but today the game seems bent on frustrating me. Which is sort of on theme today because Misdreavus is all about mischief. Maybe it cursed the game in order to play an elaborate trick on me. In Sprout Tower, I realize that I'm still having to head back to Nurse Joy after each and every fight. So I go to the Pokemart and buy some escape ropes to minimize walk time. And then after one fight, I just neglect to heal because how hard are these sages in Sprout Tower anyways? But this guy's got a team of 3 level 3 Bellsprout, which normally obviously isn't a significant feat. However, today he's one of the most annoying trainers. Psywave runs out of PP, I've learned Spite at this point so I need to use it and Growl before I can struggle. Bellsprout depletes its PP first and manages to knock Misdreavus out. That's the first reset of the run, in Sprout Tower. I think that this is going to be a long day. I decide to test my luck against Falkner's gym before fighting the final Sage in Sprout Tower. His 3 Pokemon just seems like too much of an obstacle to overcome right now. And unfortunately the same is true for the 2 trainers in front of Falkner. These are usually easy, but today they aren't. They really aren't. Against the first one, I'm dealing so little damage and I'm missing, because of course I am. I almost faint, but I managed to pull through at the last moment. Let's head back and heal. The next trainer has 2 level 7 Pidgeys. Normally, that's free experience, but when you've only got Psywave, these 2 pigeons are terrifying. I run out of Psywave PP and have to start spamming Spite and Growl again. This takes forever. Growl has so much PP and the Pidgey starts to struggle first and actually knocks itself out with recoil damage. When does this happen? I think that this is a first for my channel. Then it came to me. I depleted all my PP in this fight, and now I can actually make use of Struggle instead of Psywave. After gaining some additional experience in Sprout Tower, I come back and face Falkner. He opens with Pidgey. Despite being level 7, this is Halloween themed because this thing is terrifying. It knows Mud Slap. It lowers my accuracy once before fainting. I miss against the Pidgeotto. It uses Gust because it's got the same type attack bonus with this move, and it knows it will deal more damage than Mud Slap. Next turn, I land my Struggle and deal roughly 1/3 damage. Despite dealing a decent amount of damage, I'm missing too much and the bird ends up finishing me off. I try again immediately. I just need to get better luck and land more hits. Come on, Misdreavus, play tricks on Falkner, not me. Unfortunately, Mudslap lowers my accuracy 4 times, so I head on to Pidgeotto in really bad shape. I thought I was doing 1/3 damage to Pidgeotto, but when I land my 3rd hit, it survives with a sliver of health. Gust connects and Misdreavus survives with 2 hit points. Struggle might only deal 1 damage in recoil, but it misses instead, and Falkner wins for a 2nd time. As soon as I lost, I realized that I could just use Confuse Ray instead. The awfulness of Psywave had me convinced that I should struggle. Luckily, Confuse Ray has 100% accuracy, and it will cause the birds to miss roughly 50% of their hits. That has the potential to greatly reduce the number of times my accuracy is lowered. Pidgeys first. I set up Confuse Ray and the bird hits itself. Psywave does almost nothing, and the bird hits itself for a 2nd time. And then Psywave comes through with a massive hit. Pidgeotto's next, and I have full accuracy. I've avoided Mudslap entirely. I confuse the bird, it hits itself, Psywave does a small amount of damage, and I take my first hit from Gust. It's not doing enough damage to me to give me a reason to worry though. Many times people mention how using moves like Swagger or Confuse Ray are essentially just rolling the dice, but I don't really think of it this way. These moves can improve the statistical chance of success, and so they bring more statistical consistency to fights. Obviously, they don't provide complete consistency, but they do allow for improvements when there are no other options. Still, I'd be scared to use them in a Nuzlocke. With Falkner out of the way, I backtrack a bit and fight the Sage at the top of Sprout Tower. He's easy now, and I've realized the combination of Confuse Ray and Psywave is just the way to go. On the following route, it's possible to skip every single trainer. I usually do this because after Falkner, Bugsy feels like a walk in the park. Unfortunately, this guy with a Slowpoke catches me as I'm trying to sneak downstairs to get the TM for Swift. He's delaying me from the excitement of adding Swift to my moveset. This normal move can't miss, and that's a breath of fresh air after Psywave. I've put off mentioning Misdreavus' base stats because with Psywave they aren't relevant. It's got 60 HP attack and defense, and 85 in special attack, special defense, and speed. This is honestly an unfortunate spread for this little cutie because ghost moves are all physical in this generation. The only special damage category move that it learns through level up is Psybeam at level 27, and unfortunately I don't get same type attack bonus with it. Despite Misdreavus' pink highlights, it's not a psychic type. That's a mistake that I won't forget making. Bugsy is next. His Scyther packs Fury Cutter, and it's the only threat to Misdreavus on his entire team. The Cocoons are a nice warm-up where I get a chance to use Psywave because it's useful now when they keep setting out defense boosts. Next is Scyther. Confuse Ray is a great answer for Fury Cutter, which I already resist. I just want to ensure that it won't get too out of control. Swift is doing around 25% damage. Scyther starts to set up Fury Cutter, but on its 3rd turn it hits itself in confusion, taking it down to red health, and that allows me to win on the next turn. The Rival's next. He opens with Ghastly, and Lick is super effective against ghost types. I go for Confuse Ray first to mess it up while I start to flip coins with Psywave. I get the luck that I need and it faints. That was a great roll for Psywave. Why couldn't I have got more of those earlier on? Zubat's easy to brute force down with Swift, leading to his Ace Bayleaf. I confuse it first turn and then begin to chip away at it with Swift. I went for Confusion just because Razor Leaf will likely deal a decent amount of damage and I want to minimize the number of times I have to tank it. Funnily enough, it never actually tries to use Razor Leaf, prioritizing Poison Powder on the one turn that it used a move. In the forest, I scare a poor bird by chasing it around like a small child. Well, I guess in terms of the lore, I'm actually a small child, but I don't really think about these games that way anymore. After that's done, I grab the TM for Headbutt and I learn it in the place of Swift. Goldenrod's next. Here I pick up the coin case and attempt to buy an Abra, but then I realize that I don't have enough money for coins. So I guess I gotta go over to the department store and sell a few TMs. Using Struggle early on always messes up my money because I spend most of it on potions. With that out of the way, it's now time for the Master of Chaos herself, Whitney. She opens with Clefairy. I start using Confuse Ray, but I should have just gone on the offensive instead. Second turn, Headbutt causes a flinch and Clefairy faints without doing any damage. So even though this is a normal type gym, Miltank's Rollout is a rock move and it can still hit ghosts. I set up Confuse Ray first in hopes of breaking its combo. Rollout connects and deals 9% damage to me. I go for Spite because I was thinking about wearing down Rollout's PP, but this just gives Miltank time to snap out of confusion and connect again with Rollout, which now deals 18% damage. Things are getting tense. I set up Confuse Ray again hoping to break the combo, but the cow isn't dizzy yet. That's 35% damage. Misdreavus only has 36% health left, so I won't survive another hit. I use Headbutt and Miltank flinches, because trick or treat, my ghost is scary stuff. Then, Whitney uses Milk Drink to prolong the fight. Time to spam Headbutt and hope. Miltank hits itself in confusion, connects with rollout for 9% damage, snaps out of confusion, and connects again, but Misdreavus survives with 5 hit points. I did it. Up next is our trick-or-treating buddy Sudowoodo. I saw many of you in the comments of my last video mentioning how the tree Pokemon should be a rock-grass type. Well, Sudowoodo is based on petrified wood, so it's essentially a fossilized tree. It's been converted from grass to rock type. Honestly, for Halloween, it's sort of a stand-in for a skeleton Pokemon, because we don't really have access to another good one. I always start on the right-hand side of the kimono girls, so today I'm going to mix things up and start on the left-hand side to be just a little bit mischievous. They provide good experience and allow Misdreavus to level up to level 27 where it learns Psybeam. Good riddance, Psywave. I'm not going to miss you. Now it's time to discuss my choice for Hidden Power's type. However, before I do that, I want to mention my thoughts about Hidden Power in general. Since my Sneasel video, I've been selecting its type by manipulating my Pokemon's DVs at the start of the run. In general, my playthroughs are about seeing how fast a Pokemon can beat the game, so adding Hidden Power as a tool really helps improve speed. I also felt it added an interesting layer of strategizing at the start of the run. I need to predict where challenges will be in the playthrough and then choose a typing that will be an effective counter to them. However, after playing this way for a while, I think that it leads to the same sort of approach every single run. Hidden Power can just solve most, if not all, of the issues the Pokemon's going to face. For consistency's sake in my tier list, I'm going to continue selecting its type until I finish this series. But moving forward in the future, I'm considering banning it altogether. Now, back to what Hidden Power type I've chosen for today. Misdreavus needs a way to hit Steel and Dark types, so I've selected Hidden Power Fighting. I tried to get a special damage category Hidden Power. Of these, Hidden Power Fire was the best choice, but in the end, Fighting just makes me feel more secure, especially against Karen. The third rival fight in Burn Tower can be a sticking point for some Pokemon. Haunter's easy for Misdreavus to manage though with Psybeam. Zubat's next, and Psybeam's super effective again. Hidden Power Fighting solves the problem that is Magnemite, and the following Bayleaf won't be an issue. So now it's time for the Halloween themed gym. Morty opens with Ghastly, but Misdreavus is fast, preventing it from setting up Curse first turn. Haunter follows, but my little cutie is fast enough and outspeeds. Gengar's next. I use Psybeam and it doesn't do enough damage. Morty goes for Hypnosis, causing Misdreavus to fall asleep. Oh no, please wake up. Gengar eats Misdreavus' dreams, dealing 30% damage. It hits again, taking me down to 40% health. I should survive one more hit. However, Morty switches into Shadow Ball and Misdreavus faints. I think this is possible. I'm going to attempt it one more time. The first 2 ghosts faint in a single hit again. Gengar comes out. It survives my Psybeam with around 20% health, and then instead of using Hypnosis, it uses Shadow Ball. Please survive. Misdreavus does, giving it the chance to assert itself as the superior ghost. I think it's a crime that Morty has 2 Haunters on his team and doesn't have a Misdreavus. This cool Johto Pokemon isn't featured on any important trainers' teams. Wait, is it on any trainers' teams in this game? Like, I don't actually think through regular gameplay that you see this Pokemon even once. As a prize, I get access to Shadow Ball. Now this is a physical move in Generation 2 because all ghost moves are physical, but it's still going to be very useful for Misdreavus. Here's the calculation. Base 80 power times the 1.5 times stab modifier, giving it 120 power. This is going to be my go-to move against targets that it hits neutrally. Unless they have excellent defense, of course. It's time to haunt the lighthouse. That's fitting. Lighthouses seem like creepy places. If Swagger wasn't in this place, I'm sure that Dennis wouldn't be hanging out in here. I head out to sea and I spend a decent amount of time training. I'll likely need more levels for Jasmine. Steel Pokemon have incredible defense, so even with Hidden Power Fighting, I anticipate this fight being a little challenging. Oh hey, there's actually an NPC out here named Denise, so I guess I've got to go back to Squister for the Squirt Bottle Lady's sister. In Chuck's gym, Psybeam disappoints me. It isn't doing as much damage as I thought it would. Oh well. Because my ghost typing, I'm not very worried about these fighting types. The next trainer is Knob, and I said that he was one of the programmers for the game, but he was in fact the translator. I was watching Shaymay's video on Omega Ruby for like the 3rd time, and the story of Knob really made an impact on me this time. He was a contractor who tirelessly worked to produce amazing translations of these games. It's sad that he was let go when Game Freak wanted to take all the work in-house. At least he got a terrifying Machoke with Rock Slide in these games. Chuck's the gym leader who isn't deserving of a cool intro animation today. I one-hit the Primeape, and then Surf doesn't do much damage, and Poliwrath faints after a second use of Psybeam. Before Jasmine, I'm going to complete Price on the Rocket Hideout. The red Gyarados is next. I'll knock it out today to demonstrate that I know that I can do this. I catch it because it feels weird knocking out a shiny Pokemon, and I think that most players will want to catch it in a regular playthrough. It's also a convenient Pokemon that learns Waterfall. However, your comments made me think about it in more detail. Because of Gyarados' low catch rate and decent level, there's actually more consistent ways to obtain a waterfall user. I'll show how to do so later on. In the hideout, I face most of the trainers to gain levels. After that's taken care of, I'm ready for price. With Shadow Ball, Misdreavus is honestly a pretty decent Pokemon, and I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to gain back some time now that it lost in the early game. One other thing that's worth mentioning is that it's a mono-type ghost, and because of that it gives it an interesting niche in OU Gen 2 competitive. So that's a neat fact that I didn't actually know before I started making this video. Jasmine's next. She's the most terrifying gym leader in Johto. Hidden Power Fighting packs enough punch to take down both of her Magnemites in a single hit each. Steelix time. I use Hidden Power for 35% damage. Steelix uses Iron Tail and does 28% damage, triggering an additional defense drop. That's not good. I use Hidden Power again, and then I get hit by Iron Tail for 44% damage. Another defense drop? Come on! I've only got 28% health left, and I won't survive another hit. And then Jasmine crushes my hopes by using a Hyper Potion on Steelix. Hidden Power connects, and does... What? That did so much! A lucky critical hit right when I needed it. I outspeed next turn, cross my fingers, and Misdreavus does enough damage to KO the Iron Snake. That was tense. It's Rocket plotline time, and here I want to communicate just how the passage of time feels during this part of the playthrough. This section of the game feels like it stretches on forever. In Generation 1, the hideout's skippable with the Pokédoll, and Sylph only requires 4 fights in total. 1 Grunt, the Rival, Jesse and James, and then Giovanni. However, in Generation 2 it's hard to skip trainers in here, even in Crystal version. The fact that there aren't any difficult battles during this section of the game increases the monotony. Luckily today I won't be using Return. Rejoice in the comments section. The consequence of having so many mandatory battles in the Rocket plotline immediately following Jasmine is that I'm generally arriving at Claire very overleveled. Shadow Ball knocks out all 3 Dragonairs with ease. It's time for Kingdra. Shadow Ball does around 2/3 damage, the dragon retaliates with Surf, and Misdreavus survives, taking only 23% damage. So that's it. Oh no, it's not. Never mind. Hyper Potion to the rescue. But that only delays Claire's defeat. Now I'll pick up my waterfall user, which is Chinchou, and it can be caught in the SS Aqua port in Olivine City. If I decide to feint the red Gyarados in the future, I'll just catch Chinchou earlier in the run. But I don't lose time with this ordering either, since I'm going to be flying to Olivine anyways to grab the rare candy in the Whirl Islands before journeying to the League. In Victory Road, I face my rival for the last time. It's a breeze. Misdreavus doesn't even take a single hit point of damage. Here's my stats and moveset before the League. I feel mixed about this one. Shadow Ball, Hidden Power Fighting, and Psybeam are great together, but I don't have an answer for Lance's team that inspires confidence. Karen could also be unpredictable too, especially because of Umbreon's Sand Attack. Well, let's do it. Will's going to be the easiest in the league because he's a Psychic type specialist. Shadow Ball manages to one-hit all of his Pokemon, even the bulky Slowbro. Koga's mildly more challenging. Well, he takes more time. His Fortress is entirely to blame for this. It's his only team member that I can't one-shot. However, Explosion and Swift are both normal moves, so it's just stuck slowing me down with Protect. It's so annoying. There's a Hiker in the next room, and I must take care of him before I move on. Psybeam's really good here, so this fight isn't hard. I have PP problems because my beam runs out, but I'm able to make it work with what I've got. Okay, Karen, please be kind. And then she isn't. Umbreon survives as predicted and uses Sand Attack. I miss next turn and become confused as a result. Making matters worse, I hit myself next turn and Umbreon hits Misdreavus with Feint Attack. Okay, let's pause. I think that's the worst possible 3 turns. Okay, deep breaths. Okay, I'm ready. And so is Misdreavus, snapping out of confusion and knocking Umbreon out with Hidden Power. For Murkrow, I don't have a super effective option. Neutral Hidden Power Fighting will have to do, but it doesn't KO the Crow, allowing it to use Feint Attack. Oh, okay. I survive with 13% health. Now I just need to one-hit the rest of her team. Against Doomhound, the Pokemon with only 1 D in its name, I move first with Hidden Power, and it does enough damage. The Doggo faints, and Vileplume's next. Psybeam's super effective, and the Flower faints as well. Last is Gengar. I use Psybeam, and I immediately regret it. This ghost has lower defense, and it takes super effective damage from Shadow Ball. I should have just taken a second to think. Lucky for me, Psybeam's enough, and I'm moving on to Lance. He opens with Gyarados. This thing's impotent in Generation 2 because it's obsessed with setting up Rain Dance. That gives me 2 turns to knock it out with Shadow Ball. Next is Dragonite, and this is where the tension rises. Shadow Ball connects, dealing around 60% damage, and then the dragon uses Thunder Wave, paralyzing Misdreavus. On the next turn, Blizzard deals 17 damage and Paralysis prevents me from striking back. At this moment, I had a realization. Headbutt is complete dead weight on my moveset. Adding Rest would give Misdreavus the chance to heal Paralysis mid-fight. Without that ability, I'm just too slow and I can't output the damage required to knock out Lance's Aerodactyl. I defeat the Elite Four again and return to Lance to try out Rest. Gyarados is a 2-hit again, Dragonite paralyzes me, but this time it doesn't prevent my second Shadow Ball. I'm still at full health and I can tank Blizzard decently well, so I use Shadow Ball. It connects twice, knocking the Dragonite out. I have 40% health remaining when Aerodactyl comes out. I select Rest, it outspeeds, uses Rock Slide, taking Misdreavus down to 19% health and causing a flinch. Well, that's it I guess. I try Rest again, and Aerodactyl outspeeds with Rock Slide, and it misses. Nice! Paralysis doesn't activate, so I get to heal. Rock Slide does 20% damage each turn, and that means that I'm able to wake up and strike back with Psybeam. Aerodactyl misses one more time, and then I finish it off with nice health. Charizard comes out. I go for Shadow Ball, which doesn't finish it off. Now I've got to tank a Flamethrower. Misdreavus survives and finishes the Lizard off. The Ace Dragonite is last. I heal first turn and Outrage is dealing around 25% damage. That could make it hard to strike back. Luckily for me, the Dragonite becomes confused after 2 turns and hits itself. I seize the moment and knock it out. I've done it. I've become the champion with only a Misdreavus, but the greatest challenge still awaits in Kanto. I honestly love the fact that there's a second region in this game, but honestly it's pretty devoid of challenge. It just feels like a victory lap after the league. But I enjoy it. First up is Sabrina, and Shadow Ball slices through her frail psychic Pokemon. I have a chat with the power plant manager, spoil the plans of a criminal in Cerulean City, and then defeat Misty. I head to Erica's gym next because it's full of women. I've got to use an ether to replenish my PP after the first 3 trainers. Don't tell my girlfriend. Erica's next. Her Tangela survives Misdreavus' attack and puts me to sleep. And then Erica uses her signature move, Giga Drain. So I was worried about PP before, but my health might be the issue here. She drains me way more than I was expecting. However, she runs out of Giga Drain and then switches to Vine Whip. Kinky. Misdreavus wakes up and knocks the Tangela out. The rest of her team are not as defensive, so I sweep through all of them with ease, leveling up to 69, the perfect way to end this fight. At Brock, I realized that I forgot Thunderbolt and Psychic. Even without them, Kanto has been fairly easy. After I've defeated all 7 gym leaders, I head back and learn Thunderbolt in Goldenrod City. Now, it's time for Blue. He sends out Pidgeot and Misdreavus saps the bird with its newly acquired electric powers. Next is Rhydon, and it takes less than half damage, brews a Sandstorm, and then hits me with Earthquake. I finish it off. Oh hey, 72 hit points and 72 is a level. What a coincidence. I love when numbers line up like this. It just makes me really happy. Gyarados is a one-hit with Thunderbolt. Arcanine gets really annoying with Roar while I try to heal. I'm essentially going against my solo playthrough rules here, but honestly I think it's just fine to switch back in. After all, this just lets Blue get a free hit, which he would have got anyways if he didn't use Roar. So in this situation I don't actually gain anything from switching. Unfortunately, Flamethrower gets a critical hit and that finishes Misdreavus off. I'm gonna try again. I think that I can do this if I add Psychic to my move pool. This powerful special move does almost 90% damage to Rhydon with a single hit. That makes it a 2-hit instead of a 3-hit, allowing me to avoid Earthquake. That lets me arrive at Arcanine with 63% health remaining. I attack right away this time because I don't need to heal. Okay, it's going down in 2 hits. Oh, a full restore again, to the rescue. Silly Blue, he should know that I'm outspeeding and it's in 2-hit range. Full restore can't save you today. With the doggo out of the way, his final 2 Pokemon are Psychic types. Shadow Ball is all I need. So I've completed everything the game has to throw at me, except for Red. Misdreavus is making incredible time so far. However, while writing this portion of the script, I'm scanning through my footage to see if I pulled a Yanma and accidentally lost an hour of time somewhere along the way. Nope, I didn't. After how awful the start of this run was, I'm blown away with this little ghost's performance. Great work, Misdreavus, but the job isn't done yet, and Snorlax is just a wall. It isn't going to work at this level. This is one of the few instances where I reset without fainting. I'll just waste too much time here trying to fish for an astronomical critical hit chain. Maybe if I relearn Hidden Power, I can actually just defeat Snorlax at this level. After all, it's one of the reasons that I picked Hidden Power fighting in the first place. By the way, you can just buy a new Hidden Power TM from the Celadon department store. In this case, Misdreavus still isn't able to defeat the Snorlax. It's just too bulky. If I had access to the Hypnosis Misdreavus though, I think that I could do it. I used my rare candies and then I realized that I forgot one along the way. Oh well, now I'm able to finish the Pikachu off in a single hit, avoiding Charm. Snorlax is taking significantly more damage because of that, and it doesn't know any moves that can damage me. The wall is no more. Venusaur only actually has one attack that can deal damage the turn it's selected, which is Giga Drain, so I get 2 turns to knock it out with Psychic. Charizard survives Thunderbolt with 15% health and then uses Flamethrower. Oh, okay, I survived, but it burns me, cutting my attack stat in half. Blastoise is next. I go for Thunderbolt, the turtle survives with 30% health and then misses Blizzard. I'm proceeding on to Espeon because of that luck. However, because of my burn, I don't knock it out with Shadow Ball and I faint from the Cat Fox Dog's Psychic. The next fight doesn't go well because I tried to keep Rest this time. I thought that would help me if I got burnt in the future, but Psychic's actually needed for the Venusaur, so I think I need to just backtrack slightly and grab the additional rare candy. It's the one just outside of Mount Silver anyways, so this isn't a big time sink. Is the additional 1 level all that I need? Let's find out. I one-shot the Pikachu and then go to work on Snorlax with Hidden Power. This takes 5 turns because it can't damage me and it's going to use Rest. With Psychic, I can take care of Venusaur in 2 hits, preventing all damage. Charizard's next. I need to avoid a critical hit here. My Shadow Ball does around 45% damage, Flamethrower does 37% damage to me, and then I finish the Lizard off on the next turn. It's turtle time. Because I'm heading into this phase of the fight with higher health, Blastoise chooses Rain Dance, and I have 2 turns to knock it out. I'm facing Espeon with green health and a full attack stat. I use Shadow Ball, hold my breath, and Espeon faints. Misdreavus has done it. It's tier list time. Here's the one from last week. And this week I've actually decided to shuffle things around and revamp the look. I've emptied out the S tier because I think we'll find a Pokemon for that tier very soon. Also, Aipom and Sneasel get promotions because they're only seconds away from the higher tier. Honestly, if I just bumped into a few less walls during those playthroughs, they'd have made it. Today, Misdreavus earns itself a place in the B tier between Scizor and Stantler. That's a solid performance. I'd love to try this playthrough again in the future to optimize the early game, but there are others listed at the bottom that I want to redo first. Heracross is my top priority. I really think that it can achieve a significantly better time. Remember who's that Pokemon? So who's this Pokemon? If you're a patron and in my Discord, you'll already have a clue. Don't spoil it for others in the comments. Next week, I'll reveal the answer in my Halloween special. Consider helping me grow this channel and the community by subscribing, and help yourself to find more content by ringing the Chimecho. That's how we make Chimecho happy after all. I'm collecting the Johto patrons now. For as little as $2 a month, you can support me and become part of this awesome credit sequence. Thanks to everyone who already does support. You're making my dreams a reality. If you've made it this far, you're incredible. Now, it's bloopers time. Normally this thing is simple to catch, but today the game seems frustrating. Oh my gosh, my soundproofing panel fell off the wall and just hit me. Oh dear. Stay up there. I need you. Oh no, I think I destabilized all of them. They're just leaning against the wall. My setup is not particularly professional. It's a bunch of blankets and stuff put up against the walls. Whitney is like Winnie. Why doesn't she have a horse Pokemon? Like Stantler, which is a deer. They should have made a cool normal horse Pokemon. Is there a normal horse Pokemon? I don't think there's a normal horse Pokemon. How is there not a normal horse Pokemon? It's also a convenient Pokemon that learns Waterfall. No! The Ace Dragonite is last. I heal first turn and Outreach is... Outreach? Did I say Outreach? It's Outrage. Dragonite, oh man, I need to get a little animation of Dragonite doing Outreach now. It's like Dragonite used Outreach. It's like handing out little packages to people and stuff like that. It's so sweet. It's like doing educational concerts at schools. Dragonite, it's like dressed up teaching kids about music or something like that.